Welcome to the graduating ceremony for the St. Paul Fire Department Class of 2015 Firefighter Academy. My name is Ken Gilliam. I'm the training chief for the St. Paul Fire Department. It's my honor to open these proceedings for our 15 Academy graduates. This ceremony is the culmination of 16 weeks of very intense and comprehensive training and builds upon 160 years of tradition and service to the community. Would everyone please rise as the St. Paul Fire Department Color Guard enters to post the colors, and please remain standing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Post. Recover. Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, face.
I'd like to thank the members of the St. Paul Fire Department Color Guard and also the Minnesota State Fire Service Memorial Pipe Band for their presentation and their dedication to the department. At this time, I'd like to welcome retired St. Paul firefighter and Reverend Bob Van Zee to the stage. Reverend Van Zee, would you please offer the prayer of invocation?
I was going to wear my uniform, but I think my wife left it in the dryer too long. So I decided to wear my retirement uniform instead. I hope you like it. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we thank you and we praise you today. This is an awesome, solemn moment. And we thank you for it. We thank you for these young recruits who have done their best. All the training and all the reading and all the studying and all the testing and, dare I say it, all the nonsense. They did it all, and they're here now today, and we ask a blessing. As they go out, Lord, we want you to go with them. As we present them today, Lord, we present them to you. We thank you for being here today. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Thank you, Reverend Van Zee. It's now my privilege to introduce the City of St. Paul Deputy Mayor, Kristen Beckman.
Hi, my name is Kristen Beckman. I'm the Deputy Mayor here in the City of St. Paul. Mayor Coleman is very disappointed to be able to not be able to be with you today. These are moving events for him. He would have wanted to play the bagpipes. He wanted to have been here to congratulate you and welcome you. But I'm excited when he's out of town. That sounded really bad, didn't it? I just heard myself say that. I'm excited when I get to fill in for him at things like this, because as the chief and the leadership in the fire department know, I love to celebrate our first responders. And I love to have the chance to say thank you. And so I want to thank a number of people today. First of all, I want to thank the families. All of you who are here in the audience today, when your son or daughter, husband, wife, partner decided to make this, being a member of the St. Paul Fire Department a part of their life, they made it a part of your life. You have seen them through the fire test. I went out and watched the fire test and impressed by what you're able to do within the physical and the mental and the rigors of that test. You support them through the test, through their studying, through their application process, through all of it, and here you are today. But the commitment that you made with your family member doesn't end today. The lifestyle that they have chosen and being a part of this fire department is a demanding lifestyle, and it's demanding on you as well. And it means how you do your holidays and how you do your weekends and your birthdays and all of that might be different now for the commitment that they've made to the City of St. Paul and the residents here. So I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to say thank you. It is really meaningful to us to have all of you stand behind all of them, and I'm very grateful. I was listening to this little girl try to say hi to her dad over here somewhere, and it really, I heard that in her, that connection that we all now have together. I also want to thank the leadership within the fire department. I have tremendous trust in these leaders. They raise up good firefighters. The men and women in our fire department are strong leaders who are principled and dedicated, and if all of you follow in their footsteps, we're in good shape in the City of St. Paul. So thank you very much to the leadership. Also, today marks the day, the first day a graduate of our EMS Academy becomes a firefighter, and that's a big deal in the City of St. Paul. A number of years ago, the mayor and our fire department and our hero departments decided we wanted to make a concerted effort that youth in the City of St. Paul would come into our fire department. And today marks the day where it's like, it's happened. And so I want to thank also the leaders of our hero department and our fire department and all of those who have invested time and energy in recruiting and supporting young people in the City of St. Paul coming into the ranks. So thank you very much for that. And finally, I'd like to thank the graduates. Your decision to be a part of our community in this way and to serve, I take being a public servant very seriously. I appreciate that you do as well. Many people know I live very close to Station 5. I hear the sirens quite a bit. I used to complain about them before I had this job, but now when I hear the sirens, it is that moment of somebody in St. Paul needs help. And it is very comforting to me to know that this fire department is on the other end of that siren, because I trust that St. Paul Fire's got this. And, you know, on National Night Out, I hit about 5 or 6 different block parties in and around my house, and St. Paul Fire is the hit of those block parties. And it is, you know, for the little boys, it's because of the big shiny trucks and some of that thing, but it is this. St. Paul Fire has a place, a standing in this community, and you are now part of that, and I trust that you've got this, and I'm very grateful. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Beckman. It's now my privilege to introduce the Minnesota Board of Firefighter Training and Education Executive Director, Steve Flaherty.
Thank you, Chief Gilliam. Chief Butler, thank you for the invite today. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff at the Minnesota Board of Firefighter Training and Education, Graduates, congratulations on your accomplishment. This is the first of many I know that will be in your portfolio as you go forward in your careers. Just a little bit of background behind the Minnesota Board of Fire Training and Education. We receive funding through the fire safety account, and what the fire safety account is if you, the public, are paying homeowners insurance premiums, there's a 1/2% of a surcharge that goes into the fire safety account, and that fund, those funds equal about $13 million a year that help fund the fire marshal's office, the fire training board, and the statewide hazmat teams, and so on and so forth. So that have statewide impact. The training that was provided to the St. Paul Fire Academy this year was paid in full for these recruits to go through their academy by the Fire Training Board, and we're very proud of that. We'll be able to provide those funds to offset the cost of the training of the St. Paul Fire Department, among others, so that these recruits get the basic training that they need to step forward and provide the service. So that's important, and this year we're in the new fiscal year. The Fire Training Board is looking at, we have received allocations from the legislature this year of a record amount of funding to the tune of about $5.3 million. That's incredible, and I want to impress upon this group that the kinds of funding that's available to the Minnesota Fire Service today that wasn't available to the Minnesota Fire Service as far as just only 8 years ago. There was zero funding available in the fire safety account 8 years ago. We continue to grow and grow upon that, and that is impressive, and it creates wonderful opportunities for all of the Minnesota Fire Service, from the biggest fire department in the state as far as rosters go, like the St. Paul Fire Department, to the smallest of the outstate fire departments in Minnesota that have less than 10 members. It allows opportunity for training, and we know how important the training is. So I ask these recruits that as you go forward in your career, be all that you can be, work closely with your company officers, your chief officers, because the opportunities are endless. You can be a firefighter who got on his hometown fire department in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and made it to the ranks of chief, and then worked his way down to the State Fire Marshal's office to stand here before you today. The opportunities are endless based on the training that you want to take. Your community is expecting great things from you. They want you to be prepared for any instance, no matter what the call. You're the ones that have to be prepared, and the only way to do that is through training. Step up, find a discipline that fits your needs, work with your company officers and your chiefs, because the opportunities exist today to help you get there through the amount of training. So once again, congratulations. I look forward to working with you in the future in your career. And as a new resident of St. Paul, I have to admit that when I hear the sirens and know the trucks are coming through, I feel pretty good about that too. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Flaherty. I am doing my best to spend all the money you're throwing at us, so appreciate that. It's now my privilege to introduce Tim Kosselter, Assistant to Senator Amy Klobuchar.
As many of you know, the senator would love to be here. She's been here before, but she's asked that I come and express her wishes and read this letter. Dear friends, thank you for the thoughtful invitation to join you for today's Firefighter Academy graduation class. Although my schedule prevents me from attending, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the 15 individuals graduating from the Firefighter Academy. To each graduate, I commend you on your decision to take the solemn oath to protect and serve our capital city. As a trained member of the St. Paul Fire Department, you are joining a dedicated team of professionals who seize every opportunity to provide prompt and compassionate services which ensure the well-being and safety of our community. You didn't promise to protect and serve only if it's convenient, or to protect and serve only between 9 and 5 on weekdays. You do your job without fear or favor. You put the interests of the people you serve above all, and you are truly on the front lines of public safety. Thank you again for the kind invitation and congratulations on completing the rigorous training necessary to become a St. Paul firefighter, funded by the previous speaker. In addition, I want to thank all the firefighters and emergency responders who are committed to protecting our community every day, even at the risk of their own safety. I am very proud of our public safety personnel and will continue working hard to provide the support you need. I'm honored to represent you in the United States Senate. Sincerely, Amy Klobuchar, United States Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Kostler, and please pass our thanks on to Senator Klobuchar. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Fire Chief, Tim Butler, to the podium.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our celebration today as these trainees begin what I hope will be a long, healthy, and rewarding career as a St. Paul firefighter. 159 years ago today, the St. Paul Fire Department was just 9 months old. Less than 36 men operated a hand-drawn pumper and a wooden ladder truck, and they responded from a rented blacksmith shop on 4th and St. Peter. The city of St. Paul back in 1855 had a population of 4,000 people. The town spread along the Mississippi River for 3 miles, and the dusty, unpaved streets petered out just 3/4 of a mile from the water's edge. The firefighters of the day were respected citizens and community leaders, and they came from the nearby neighborhood. Firefighters had a deep personal connection with the neighborhoods they served, and fire stations were the social centers and safe havens of the community. Firefighters were unpaid volunteers at the time, but they gave freely of their time and talents, and they often paid for that generosity with broken bones, cuts, burns, and all too often with their lives. They were renowned for their physical and moral courage, for their great strength and stamina, the compassionate care that they provided, and for their willingness to serve their neighbors no matter what the hour, the season, or the emergency. These 4 traits, strength, courage, compassion, and service to others, remain the enduring values of the St. Paul Fire Department and are still the indelible mark of those who take the oath of firefighter. At St. Paul Fire, we're proud of our history and we're proud of our service because we've seen it all, we've done it all, and we've lived it all. The complete history of the American Fire Service has paraded down the streets of this town. And our firefighters no longer hail solely from the local neighborhoods. The class of 2015 firefighters have military deployment experience around the world and roots that run to Central and South America, to Freedom House Station 51, and through legacy firefighting families within our department. We have led and survived monumental change, but we've never forgotten the roots or those 4 core values of strength, courage, compassion, and service to others. Fire departments that have forgotten those core principles and failed to maintain that deep personal connection to the neighbors they serve are facing budget cuts, station closures, and layoffs so severe that they can no longer respond to the neighbors that are in distress. And when citizen calls and the fire service cannot respond to fix the problem, their trust is shattered forever. So, all of us need to continually work to make firefighter safety and service to citizens our top priorities always. We must work to nurture our deep personal connection with all members living in our neighborhoods. We must strive to put down additional roots in Asia and Africa and Central and South America and within our own richly diverse community of St. Paul. We must all remain real-life examples of our history and our values. So, class of 2015, I charge you to be the guardians of what we hold most dear and a strong foundation for our future success and inclusion. Today, you're being promoted from firefighter trainee to firefighter. And as you make that transition, I urge you to remember the core values of our organization: strength, courage, compassion, and commitment to others. Those values lie at the very heart of who we are and what we do. When an 8-year-old kid sees you in your firefighter uniform, that child should see those values reflected in your actions, your words, and your attitudes. In fact, it's your positive, enthusiastic expression of those values that makes an 8-year-old kid want to be a firefighter. You will find that we're the good guys, the men and the women respected and loved by the residents we serve, but only when we reach, teach, and engage our immigrant residents, only when we approach situations with an understanding of ethnic and cultural norms different from our own, and only when we live up to the trust our neighbors bestow on us. The citizens of St. Paul will be entrusting you with their lives, their prized possessions, their safety, and their dignity. They also invest significant amount of taxpayer dollars to ensure that you're fully equipped, fully trained, and fully staffed to do your job. Never forget the trust or the investment the citizens have made in you, and never betray it. Now, I know in a 16-week academy, your instructors couldn't cover all the situations you'll encounter while serving the public, so I'm going to provide you with 6 standing orders to help guide your actions and attitudes as firefighters. These 6 rules are to be followed at all times and in all situations. First, always look at yourselves and evaluate your actions through the eyes of the citizens. The residents of St. Paul are the final arbitrators of whether our actions are appropriate or our services are worth the investment. Except for firefighter safety, never put yourself first. Always put the citizens first. They know when we don't deliver our best efforts because ultimately they set the expectations and they rule the standard of care. So, see yourselves through their eyes always. Number 2, be problem solvers in the community. Neighborhood problems are solved at the sidewalk level, and the problems citizens encounter in their daily lives are not typically fires or EMS emergencies. Seek out and solve the problems you find in the neighborhood and add value to citizen lives every day. Whatever they need help with today is our job today. Nurture that deep personal connection to the people of St. Paul. Doing so will make you more aware of the needs, more responsive to their struggles, and ultimately more relevant in their lives. And we remain relevant only when we do more than just our traditional role of responding to life-saving emergencies. Number 3, make your stations safe havens in the neighborhood. Our stations have been a place for neighborhoods to gather, seek advice, and run to for help since 1855. So be open to your neighbors. Welcome them into your stations, provide them with help, advice, guidance, and safe company. Remember, the citizens own the stations. They own the apparatus and the equipment we use. We simply are the caretakers of those stations, those rigs, and that equipment. Number 4, be courageous physically and morally. It's easy to physically be tough when you're attacking a fire. You'll find it harder to be morally courageous when faced with adversity, peer pressure, bias, discrimination, or injustice. So be morally courageous in those instances. Stand up and do the right thing, and when you do, others around you will feel bigger and stronger, and they'll stand up for what's right also. Use moral courage to dispel rumors, resolve differences, correct a wrong, bring peace and justice to your stations and your neighborhood. Number 5, don't just deliver a service, build a relationship. When you interact with a citizen, don't be in a rush to get back into service or get ready to fight the next fire. People know when they're being shortchanged, and they know when their concerns are being minimized. Treat everyone as a dear neighbor and a family member. Address their needs, express sympathy for their loss, and empathize with their situation. The relationships you build with the residents, the building owners, and the block clubs are what make us and keep us the good guys. Finally, take ground and lead the transformation. And simply put, I want every member of this department to be empowered to use their training, their resources, and their creativity to solve problems facing our citizens and our department. We can only really be great and successful when we're willing to go the extra mile for the people we serve and to think outside the box when solving challenges of the future. In a few minutes, you'll be awarded the coveted badge of firefighter. I see none of you fell asleep during this speech, so you passed the final exam. That badge is your symbol of authority that I invest in you to carry out those 6 standing orders. Wear that badge with pride. I wear my fire chief's badge on the outside of my jacket, but on the shirt underneath, I'm wearing my firefighter's badge. Because we're all in this together, we're all one family, we're all being watched by those 8-year-old firefighters of the future. We represent what's right with America and really what our society needs the most. We're walking examples of those enduring values embodied by our firefighters since 1855. Before I leave the podium, I want to thank Mayor Coleman and our very supportive and dear Deputy Mayor Kristen Beckman, and the President and the members of the City Council for their enduring support of our people and our mission. We have champions downtown. We've got champions here in the stage, but we have champions downtown. Their financial and policy support is a clear indication that they've made public safety a priority, and they love the safety and success of our firefighters. I also want to personally thank Chief Gilliam, the members of the training division, and the academy instructors and staff. These mentors and leaders invested an incredible amount of time, and as hard as you guys have worked, they worked extra hard, double shifts, probably triple shifts. They've invested an incredible amount of time and talent and effort into making you successful and really all firefighters safe. They're superb ambassadors for the City of St. Paul and our department, and they're obvious masters of the trade. So instructors, I appreciate all that you've done, all the efforts that you've put into this academy and to all the academies that you've led and served. And finally, to echo Deputy Mayor Beckman's comments about family, to the spouses and children and family members of the new firefighters and all of the members of our St. Paul Fire Department, your enduring sacrifice and support allow us to serve our citizens with proficiency, compassion, and pride. You keep us grounded, and you keep us loved and supported and successful. And we will remember and appreciate always that families also serve. Class of 2015, congratulations on your successful completion of the Recruit Academy. Today, I welcome you to the rank of public servant and to the rank of firefighter. Congratulations.
A successful firefighter training academy requires significant team effort. The time investment occurs not only during the actual academy, but also in months of advanced work, building on years of training and experience. I'd like to introduce the members and of the training division team and thank them. Please stand when I call your name. Captain Jovan Palmieri. This is Captain Palmieri's 3rd Recruit Academy in a row, and this year I assigned him as training officer, coordinating over the other academy captains. Joe rose to the challenge and effectively stayed ahead of the demands of the job, regardless of the scheduling surprises that we always encounter. In addition to teaching and working with the recruits directly, he coordinated with all the adjunct instructors, guest presenters, stayed ahead of the planning and logistics needs, and made my job relatively easy as training chief. He would typically hand me things right before I would ask for them, and I sincerely appreciate his passionate dedication, not only to the recruits, but to the details of the assignment. Thank you, Joe. Captains Roy Macoso, Derek Peterson, and Steve Sampson. All 3 of you stand up. This was Roy's 4th academy. I somehow talked him into coming back for just one more. Derek's 2nd academy and Steve's 1st round as academy staff. These 3 collectively applied their strengths as trainers, mentors, and rock-solid fire captains to provide us with about as well-balanced a group of instructors as I could have ever wished for. In addition to leading and enduring many of the same physical demands as the recruits, these officers often came in early and stayed late to provide additional training and assistance, document their work, and stay ahead of the busy schedule. Their positive attitudes were a clear example for the recruits, and their can-do attitudes made the workload look very easy. Their passion for the job certainly motivated me as their boss, and I hope that the recruits truly appreciate all the dedication that these captains gave them. Thank you, gentlemen. While running this academy, our training division was also challenged with several other concurrent projects, including an overhaul of our entire training management system, a department-wide PPE evaluation process, ongoing company training series on modern fire tactics, and another number of essential training, research, and development projects. In addition to our dedicated staff for the Academy, we are fortunate enough to have a few special detailed personnel, as well as some light duty personnel working with us that dug in and got a tremendous amount of work done for us. While admittedly stressful and insanely loud at times in my office, I truly enjoyed having the packed house over the summer, and I want to thank all of the members assigned to our training division who kept the gears turning. When I say your name, please stand up and be recognized. Training Officer Sean Conway, Health and Safety Officer Jerry Dino, Logistics Officer Bill Rondo, Shop Manager Glenn Ketterlich, Captain Tim Smith, Firefighters Pete Gutzman, Mark Erickson, Sarah Peterson, Caitlin Sands, our adopted EMS training specialist Mark Tutilla, he's back in the back there somewhere, and our administrative assistants Caroline Finlay and Amy O'Donnell. Thank you very much. I also counted down our roster. We included about 60 other instructors and guest presenters over the course of 4 months who dedicated their time and abilities to teach specialty subjects and ensure safe operations during much of the training. I'm extremely grateful for the dedication and professionalism of all the personnel working on behalf of the training division. I'd also be remiss if I did not take time to give a heartfelt thank you to all of our families, both training and the recruits, who dealt with changing schedules, late days, late nights, and the focus needs of a recruit academy. So all the family members, thank you very much. This is my favorite and worst part coming up. So beyond those already mentioned, I must thank the entire fire department organization, and as much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna read through the whole list of names here, so I'm gonna go fast, hold your applause, but I do wanna give credit, and there is a point to all of these thank yous for you guys here in a few minutes. So, Chief Butler, Assistant Chief Banks and Assistant Chief Simpson, Executive Services Director John Swanson, Fire Marshal Steve Zackard, HR Advisor Tracy Blees, and the entire administration team at headquarters. Thanks to the chief officers on the operational shifts, Deputy Chiefs Lance Sinitra, Stu Beslin, and Stacy Horhertz, as well as all the district chiefs and EMS supervisors. These officers helped us coordinate with the companies who frequently came to work on different training evolutions during the days and even a few very late nights, all the while keeping an eye on the rest of the city and shuffling companies to cover the emergency response calls. To all those fire companies that came out to work with the recruits, as well as those companies left in service each time that covered the additional call loads, your involvement is key to our combined success and is truly appreciated. To the individuals who ran PT with the recruits during their off-duty time, to the specialty instructors, the captains, the FEOs, and the seasoned firefighters who were always more than willing to step up, teach, pass on lessons learned, and lend credibility to the learning plans, thank you all very much. In addition to those already mentioned, it's important to acknowledge that the Recruit Academy is a community-wide endeavor. In the spirit of brevity, I am going to thank contributors in general terms. City of St. Paul political leaders, building maintenance, public safety garage, fire prevention, DSI, human resources, risk management, Ramsey County Comm Center, Regions Hospital, Health Partners, Para, Veterans Administration, Flint Hills Refinery, Century College, and the Rock 10 now West Rock Corporation, the International Association of Firefighters, and any others that I may be forgetting. Thank you all for your assistance and contributions to this academy. Most importantly, and the point I promised on all of these thank yous, graduates, while you'll never remember probably most of that list that I just rambled off, I want you to please appreciate that the number of people that have dedicated time and passion to your training as firefighters coming on this job in an effort to really prepare you for public service back to the community. So just remember that, pay it forward. Traditions. Fire service in general, and the St. Paul Fire Department in particular, is known for many traditions. A tradition that started in 2011 is the selection of a top recruit. While we work to stress the importance of teamwork, we also like to challenge each recruit to give us their very best individually. The top recruit award is determined by 4 scoring criteria: academic grades, practical skills grades, training staff review, and a peer review process where each member ranks the class, all the other members in the class, in consideration of test scores, leadership, integrity, and character. I will have the Academy captains join me now on stage to present this award. Come on up, guys. As we analyzed the numbers for this class, it was a very close competition between several individuals who excelled in the different criteria, and it even came down to a very minimal 2-point difference between the top 2 recruits. One individual did come out on top of the scoring process, and we'd like to acknowledge Simon Vogel as the class of 2015 top recruit. Simon, come on up. You get us, Jamie? Oh, okay. I'm moving too fast. All right. We're going to go a little off script here. It's a little unorthodox, and I got to grab something here. Just came up this morning. Never before seen at the academy graduations, but often talked about over the past 5 years or so. We have a pink extinguisher that's used as a mental, physical device as people get things like these observation reports documenting good or bad things. When they get a bad one, this pink extinguisher gets their discrepancy or problem written on it. They sign off on it, and they carry it around until the next recruit earns it. The thing's about 50 pounds, and it probably has 10 pounds of paint from the last 8 academies on it, so it's kind of taken on a life of its own. We got through all the practical testing. We thought we were all good, but we did have one final observation incident report. We'd like Sergio Flores to please come up to the stage. Come on up. Date, 8/7/15. Positive and negative report. Complete and utter disobedience of Captain Palmieri's orders not to deliver prior to graduation and your display of poor planning. Delivery of a baby during the recruit academy is not authorized. Recommendations is that you follow all officers' orders and enroll in a FEMA post-incident planning course. Baby boy at about 3 or 4 a.m. this morning?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming out. Congratulations. Sorry, we had to do something, man. You look tired. Another academy tradition is the selection of a class speaker. The recruit class chooses its own speaker, and I'd like to invite Thomas Hillpish to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you, Chief. First of all, thank you, family, friends, loved ones, and distinguished guests for coming out here and taking the time out to attend our graduation. And thanks also for my class for allowing me to speak on your behalf. I know I kind of just volunteered myself to do this, so thank you. It's no shock to anyone in the audience for me to say that everyone here in these chairs is humbled to be here today. More importantly, thank you to Chief Butler for allowing us to serve the citizens of St. Paul and to be the graduating class of 2015. We're truly honored and proud to be sitting here today. I'd like to start out by thanking Deputy Chief Gilliam for conducting such an outstanding fire academy. Chief Gilliam has upheld the highest standards, and his staff has worked hard to ensure the recruits standing here today have the skills needed to serve with pride, courage, and dedication. With that, thank you to Captain Palmieri for overseeing our training, Captain Peterson, Captain Coso, Captain Sampson, along with the training division staff, Captain Conway, Captain Dino, Firefighter Rondo, along with logistics staff, PSG staff, and the many street crews for your tireless and continuous support throughout these last 16 weeks. There wasn't a gap in any of the training where you couldn't squeeze in a few dozen flights of stairs, a medical scenario, or even some burpees that we had so fairly earned. Your knowledge and experience has not only taught us the essential skills to be excellent firefighters, but you also showed us how to conduct ourselves as professionals who will show up on potentially the worst day of someone's life. I'm confident that we are trained and prepared to start our new careers and look forward to sharpening our skills and expanding our knowledge of fire and EMS. When we first started out this fire academy 16 weeks ago, many of us were questioning what we had really gotten ourselves into. I think it's more accurate to say our bodies were questioning why we really willingly ran countless flights of stairs with full bunker gear while carrying hose bundles up those stairs to the point of muscle failure or until our air packs would run dry. and then continued to keep going until Captain Macoso decided that his mechanical body had just had enough. I also remember in the early weeks of the Fire Academy, a bottle of ibuprofen being passed around the room, recruit to recruit, and the entire room smelling of Tiger Balm. During these 16 weeks, we have all grown together. We truly do have a class from all walks of life. We have folks native from the countries of Chile and Mexico, a southern gentleman from Savannah, Georgia. We've got folks from Wisconsin, and of course, plenty of people from the great state of Minnesota. We have a classmate from the City of St. Paul's Fire Department EMS Academy. We've got people from different EMS agencies, different fire departments, and many of us have served and continue to serve our country in the armed forces. Please join me in thanking all our current and retired service members at this time. We even made a furry friend in this fire academy. While riding the bus to Rock 10 for some hands-on training, we happened upon a dog walking down the sidewalk. Captain Macoso stopped the bus, and a few of us walked out to rescue this dog. Once the pup beelined it towards Energy Park Drive, our friend Vogel shouted out loud, "Oh, he gone." That's been our motto for the last 16 weeks after that. So Zach Bamer and I ended up following this dog across the street and befriended him and carried this dog in our arms a quarter mile back to Rock 10. Once we met up with Captain Macoso, we took the dog home to find out that the dog's name was Beamer, which ironically is Zach Bamer's nickname. We started out not knowing much about each other either. And two of us went to get a beverage after the first week, and within 2 weeks, the entire class was getting together every Friday after school. And this was the start of our recruit family. We also had recruit Vogel get engaged to his beautiful fiancée, Heather, and Flores finally had his baby this morning. We are grateful for that. Congratulations. Another thing most of us won't easily forget, myself in particular, you guys saw already, is the extra heavy pink fire extinguisher that we would carry around so endearingly. You could earn this extinguisher by doing or saying something worth noting. Certain things like giving man hugs on the training pad, the occasional good game, and for talking like sailors. It also seemed to be very difficult to maintain accountability of this fire extinguisher from time to time. One of us happened to find it on top of the 6-story training tower, and of course, could only get it in exchange for some burpees. Fair and buck. Some of us also learned that when it came to simple math, thinking out loud was not the best practice. And Billy Business is still trying to figure out everybody's FICO score. We also learned a new way to speak English. Don't be surprised if you hear all of us on our new cruise saying things like, "Oh, he gone," or "drink more water," or "What in Sam, hell?" Thanks a lot for that, Vogel. Okay, I'll try to wrap this up now so Bishop can get to bed by 8 o'clock. Sorry, Bishop. All right, once more, I just want to thank all our chiefs, fire, and city administration, the training captains, Regions EMS staff, and the street crews for all your hard work that you put into training each one of us and preparing us to hit the streets. You have helped us all transition from fire recruit to firefighter, and we're all looking forward to working with you soon. Lastly, but most importantly, I want to thank all our family, loved ones, and anyone else who supported us throughout these last 16 weeks. Thank you for putting up with the long hours, the late night study groups, the undone to-do lists, and the whining of grown adults. There's no doubt in my mind that 15 of us would not have succeeded without your help and encouragement. Thank you all so much for coming, and God bless you.
Explanation of the badge. Class of 2015, as mentioned earlier, you are entering into a profession filled with symbolic traditions, some being centuries old. One such tradition is the Maltese Cross. During the Crusades, a band from the island of Malta, known as the Knights of St. John, gained a reputation for courage in battle. While attacking the walls of a city, their enemies would hurl glass containers of naphtha at them. After being saturated in the flammable liquid, flaming torches would be hurled in their midst, causing hundreds of the knights to be burned alive. Others risked their lives to save their brothers in arms from dying painful, fiery deaths. Their heroic efforts were recognized by fellow Crusaders, who awarded each with a badge of honor, a Maltese Cross similar to the one that you now wear on your left shoulder. The badge you are about to receive is full of symbolism as well. Perched on top of the badge is a phoenix, a mythological bird that symbolizes new life rising out of the flames. The continuous rope and chain around the badge symbolizes unbroken service and loyalty. The torch indicates your willingness to risk your life in response to other people in need. Centuries ago, warriors wore a symbol of the weapon they were expert in. When that weapon was crossed, it meant that it had been used in battle. On your badge are the cross tools of a firefighter, which you have demonstrated proficiency in. The badge is not just a piece of metal. It is a symbol that carries an obligation to protect and save those in need. There is no nobler an obligation. Class of 2015, please rise and prepare for the badge ceremony. Training captains, please join me on stage to read the names of the recruits.
Dorwin Bishop. Zachary Bamer. Anton Fehrenbach. Sergio Flores. J.D. Ford. Thomas Hilpish. John Johnson. Jody Kelting. William Lear. Caesar Mariscal. Thomas P. McDonough. Steve Mirth. Melissa Mondo. Kelly Saunders. Simon Vogel.
Round of applause.
I was reminiscing with Chief Flaherty before about the night we burned the recreational vehicle to the ground. During the training, we had this full-size RV, and one of the objectives was just burn it to destruction. And it was so cool because it was in the middle of the night, and there were 70 firefighters standing around watching something burn. And you could see the eagerness, like, can we go get it now? They finally did, but it was just kind of a peaceful moment. The St. Paul Firefighters Oath, if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
That of the state of Minnesota.
That of the state of Minnesota.
All ordinances of the city of St. Paul.
All ordinances of the city of St. Paul.
And the rules and regulations of this department.
And the rules and regulations of this department.
I will strive to maintain a spirit of teamwork and cooperation.
I will strive to maintain a spirit of teamwork and cooperation.
With all personnel.
With all personnel.
I will seek to give only the highest example.
I will seek to give only the highest example.
Of honesty, integrity, and good citizenship.
Of honesty, integrity, and good citizenship.
I understand my behavior on and off duty.
I understand my behavior on and off duty.
Affects the reputation of all firefighters.
Affects the reputation of all firefighters.
I will at all times uphold the highest standard.
I will at all times uphold the highest standard.
Of a professional firefighter.
Firefighter.
And the proud traditions of the St. Paul Fire Department.
And the proud traditions of the St. Paul Fire Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the firefighter class of 2015.
Class of 2015, we often remark that summers in Minnesota go way too fast, but I'm guessing that April feels like a long time ago, and you probably thought that August would never get here. Each academy is certainly unique. Last year it was noteworthy that we had 2 recruits all the way from Texas, but this year we had 2 of you come as far away from as Mexico and South America, and yet we still had the most linguistic entertainment from the gentleman from Georgia. I can't quite figure that out. During the academy, 2 of you simultaneously completed your national paramedic certification while keeping up with your academy demands. 1 of you had been keeping tabs on an extremely pregnant wife as it got closer and closer. 1 of you is our first firefighter coming from the Freedom House Ambulance 51 program. 4 of you are legacies with family ties to the department. One of you is responsible for a covert operation to steal my license plates. Bamer, I was in on it, I gotta let you know, so it's fun. A few of you were crazy enough to accept orders to dump buckets of water on Captain Makoso on his birthday, and I believe you all paid the price. And your class rescued Beamer the dog from certain death in a story that, with time, will undoubtedly become one of the more dramatic rescue situations that any recruit academy has ever faced. Well done, well done. While all of this is funny and noteworthy, I will remember the class of 2015 for your great attitudes, your passion, and ultimately your teamwork. You guys have blended well together. While each of you independently accepted this career challenge for your own reasons, over the past 4 months, it's been a pleasure watching you take on the challenge as a team, and I thank you for that. And I now welcome you to an even larger team of professionals with a noble mission of simply helping people. I'm also excited for each of you as you come in with fresh perspective and a full career ahead of you. You're joining our department during a time when the fire service is experiencing unprecedented technological advances and learning from true scientific research that is rapidly changing how we operate at structure fires and medical emergencies. You're going to be called a firefighter, but you've joined an organization with a mission that's truly an all-hazards response agency. In addition to you fighting fires and treating medical emergencies, you'll also deal with hazardous materials response, terrorism response, technical rope rescue, confined space rescue, water rescue, and vehicle extrications. As you continue to master the basics of your job, you'll also have the opportunity to become structural collapse technicians, SWAT paramedics, helicopter rope rescuers, public educators, incident managers, and ultimately public servants in the truest sense of the words. With this ever-expanding mission in mind, I'm going to encourage you to remember that the 640 hours of training and conditioning that you just completed is merely scratching the surface on what you do over the course of each of your careers. If at any point in this academy you question why you were being pushed so hard, appreciate that we are preparing you for one of the most demanding career fields you could ever look for, with the end goal of you living to teach about it to future generations that will follow in your footsteps someday. You've learned about St. Paul history, policies, procedures, and best practices. You've drilled hard on cognitive skills and physical performance requirements, and you've been pushed up to and beyond your physical limits. You've fought fires, worked with trauma teams, cut apart cars, climbed ladders, learned defensive tactics, and did anti-elevator stairwell familiarization training in several of St. Paul's tallest buildings over and over again. You've squeezed through openings that appeared smaller than the size of your body, and you've learned to defeat many mental and physical obstacles placed before you. You've drilled enough on your personal protective equipment to know it blindfolded. You've been tested and retested, and some of you even retested some more, and this was all for the following reason. Throughout the academy, we reviewed incidents where firefighters were injured or killed because they lacked basic skills and abilities to do this job. On the very first day of this academy, I told you that you would not graduate unless you proved a mastery of knowledge, skills, and abilities required for this career. Testament to this being that while you started as a larger group of 18 new recruits, there are only 15 of you here today that have proven that you have what it takes to work in St. Paul as a firefighter. As you graduate today, I have one more challenge for each of you. I challenge you to continuously educate yourself as an all-hazards firefighter and not become a statistic. Stay focused. Read, listen, ask, watch, practice, work hard, and then pass it on to others that will someday replace you. Most importantly, as I tell every new firefighter, remember where you are right now today. Remember how hard you worked to earn this new career, and remind yourself of this when you start to get mired down in the stresses and distractions that frustrate all of us from time to time. Appreciate that you have earned a career where you have the opportunity to positively affect someone or the outcome of someone's worst day. Do these things and it will be a career well invested. Congratulations.